Let's talk about all of this and put it into focus now with journalist Josh Boswell. Josh has been following this drama, joining via Skype this hour. It's good to have you with us.
Hi, George.
Josh, the Prime Minister accused of lying to the Queen, the British press using the L word, lying. Clearly, he's on the defensive and counting on the Supreme Court to side with him next week. This headline has dominated British media and adds more complication to an already complicated issue.
That's right. Yeah, this is just getting more and more complex, and it's moving from Parliament into the courts now, as we've seen multiple court cases here. So you've got the English courts ruling that Boris Johnson did not act unlawfully. He was completely fine in proroguing or shutting down Parliament. But the Scottish courts ruled that, in fact, it was unlawful. Now, the Supreme Court is the ultimate court in the United Kingdom. They're going to have to decide on Tuesday. They've got a 3-day hearing that they're going to have there. And really, that's what's going to decide here the final word on whether Parliament is going to go back into session, that proroguing will be overturned, or whether Boris Johnson was right. Now, interestingly, it looks like from previous decisions, the Supreme Court tends to consider cases in the context of the legal framework that they came from. So that means that in the Scottish case, it will look at that and say, well, according to Scottish law, we're going to make that decision within that context. And with the English case, they'll say, well, we're going to decide this case according to English law. So we could very well find that the court would make one decision on the Scottish case, the Supreme Court, and one decision on the English case, because it's two different legal frameworks here. So it's just very complicated.
All right, to delve into a bit of that complication and to drill into the Scottish court's decision, help our viewers understand how they reached that ruling to shut down Parliament, saying that it was unlawful.
So the crux of the court case here was, what was Boris Johnson's real intent? And now he claims that he just wanted to prorogue, shut down Parliament in the normal procedure. That is, at the end of a parliamentary term, you have a short break of a couple of weeks of Parliament, so that there's a breather before you start a new parliamentary session where the government gets to put forward in a Queen's speech its new vision for the Parliament going forward. This happens regularly, very often every few years in British politics. But the other side, and successfully argued in the Scottish case, that in fact Boris Johnson's intention was to shut down Parliament early to prevent any more debate on Brexit, and to really forge ahead with his own no-deal Brexit ideas and platform here. And that was unlawful because he was restricting Parliament's lawful constitutional role of scrutinizing the executive.
Josh, let's talk also about this, what seems to be rare win for the Prime Minister. This twist from a judge in Belfast dismissing a legal claim that a no-deal Brexit and a hard border would undermine peace in Northern Ireland. The court will hear appeals later today on this, but clearly this is something that falls in the Prime Minister's favor.
Yes, that's right. So he's got the tally, I suppose we could say, is 2-1 at the moment. You've got a win for him in the English courts, a win for him in the Northern Irish courts, and a loss in Scotland. This is really going to bolster him, that Northern Irish ruling, because this is where the key Brexit negotiation issues lie. It's whether Britain and Ireland are going to be able to create a situation where we can leave the European Union but not have so much friction on the border there. And that's the one land border that you have between the European Union and the United Kingdom, that border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. And if we can get free-flowing trade there without any problems but still leave the European Union, then the problems are solved. But so far, that seemed intractable. Now, a judge here ruling that there aren't going to be serious consequences, or at least kind of lending some credence to Boris Johnson's arguments here, is going to be a real boost for him. The problem is that the Supreme Court has to decide, and if it does rule against him, that positive news for Boris Johnson is likely to be overshadowed here.
Surely all eyes will be on the courts this week and the Brexit deadline, October 31st. It is looming large. Josh Boswell, we appreciate your time and insight today live for us in Anchorage, Alaska. Thank you.
Thank you.